Oh, what up, y'all? If you guys hear some beeping noises, I'm in a vehicle. And then if you hear beeping noises, that means that the seatbelt isn't on my right seat. That's because your boy's got snacks in the right seat that are weighting it down so much that it thinks that the human being is actually in the car with me. I'm on a road trip. I'm doing LA to Phoenix. It's a route that I've done a million times. I have to go to Phoenix to do some work. We're going to get some, again, this is now it's just a whatchamacallit. Also, if you're wondering on a road trip what your boy MJT does, I've been on a whatchamacallit kick. I do a lot of road trips. I've been hitting a lot of gas stations. It's been hitting. Last week I went to San Francisco. There and back, whatchamacallit was consumed. Other things that your boy gets, Fritos chili cheese. I'm a veteran to this. I am not new to this. I'm true to this. That is one of the better things you can get. Argue with me if you want to. You know what I'm saying? If you haven't had them, if you don't think that they're great, that's a you thing. Haribo Twin Sticks is the last thing that I've gotten. And those are just some gummy worms that are actually, I think, the most weighted thing down on this. It is... they're a heavy pack of delicious gummy sugar packed in there. It's going to keep you awake for the long routes. I think there's something about just keeping your mouth chewing on things that keeps me awake. I don't know. You ever think that? Sometimes I think I need caffeine, but if I just drink some water, your boy's pretty jacked up for another 30 minutes. I'm a professional road tripper. I pride myself in being able to make long trips. A lot of people are looking at this like, damn, you still holding a microphone while you're just holding the wheel with one hand? Yeah. If you weren't here, if I wasn't holding the mic, that'd be what I was doing anyway. I'd barely be glancing up at the road, okay? Sometimes I watch whole movies on Amazon Prime on the phone. You can do, it's like driverless cars have been a thing for a while, even with drivers in them. You know what I mean? Are we even really here? You ever just cruising on the road for like 20 minutes and you come back and you're like, dude, what? Where am I? What am I passing? Is that Palm Springs? Did I miss an exit? Speaking of missing exits, I just had an ordeal where I thought I definitely was going to run out of gas. So when I say things like I'm a professional road tripper and things like that, I still fuck up. I trust myself. I've done this route a million times. What happened was I saw that I was on low. I had about 45, 50 miles on the gallon or on the tank. And I received a phone call that went longer than I expected, completely zoned out. When I got off that phone call, I was down to 10 miles on the range for my tank until I was on empty. And the closest gas station was 18 miles away. And I started freaking out. So if we started recording this podcast about 30 minutes ago, you'd have seen a very stressed out dude with nothing on, the radio off, very focused on drafting behind whatever truck that I was linked up to and very committed to. I've heard of the term drafting. I've obviously seen Days of Thunder multiple times. I'm not a big NASCAR guy, but I love Tom Cruise. And just the science behind it, being able to get behind a car and taking their momentum and letting them roll with you. I was doing that, barely tapping the gas. Definitely should have ran out of gas. Made it to the Chevron at Chiraco Summit, somewhere in California, in the desert. Would have been a tough look for you, boy. That marks the third time I've almost ran out of gas. I'm not a big freaker outer. I try to stay as calm as I can and think about the solutions that I can make. But I do remember one time I almost ran out of gas in the desert. This same route. So it's a tough route, okay? Because you could just fill up in LA, but this is the most expensive gas, and you're going to be getting to a point where the gas is going to be cheaper. Once you hit Arizona, it gets way cheaper. So you try to get to that. You also just don't want to stop. I don't know if you guys are like that, but when you started road trip, I just want to get the fuck out of specifically LA, right? Because you can get some stop and go traffic is just annoying. It was raining this morning. I wanted to get the fuck out of there. So I get past that area, and then what you got to do typically is you're probably going to want to fill up in this in between at some point, because you're going to get to a point where there's like 60 miles between any other gas station. Sometimes I think there's a stretch where it's like 60 to 80 miles before you see another gas station, because this is the desert. All right, I don't think this is like the desert like where DeVito got buried in Casino, but it's deep desert stuff. I mean, people have definitely been brought out here to never be found. You know what I mean? Which is cool to think about. It's exciting stuff. But just deep desert. It's between Arizona and California. And so you do want to fill up before you hit that. And I was mentally prepared to do that. But I'll tell you what, that once I got off that phone call and saw that I only had 10 miles left in the tank, your boy was concerned. But I did. I remained calm. I figured I'd get as close to I can as the gas station, and the worst comes to worst, I got to fucking walk. Would have been horrible. Would have ruined my day, but we would have bounced back. But I got all the way to that Chevron, so thank God. And I've refueled in more ways than one. The other thing I got the chili cheese Fritos, the whatchamacallit, shout out to whatchamacallit, and the Haribo twin snakes. A lot of people say, why didn't you get the regular gummy bears? There's something about the snakes, I don't know. I just like them more. I was looking for gummy worms, I'm going to be honest with you, but I didn't see them. Snakes are pretty much the same thing. If you told me those were worms. Also, with twin snakes, it sounds like it was actually a mistake. Siamese twins. What's going on at the factory? But the other thing I always get is I'm on a yellow Red Bull kick, too. Tropical, dude. These things hit. Pretty tasty. I don't always need the caffeine drinks, the Red Bulls. I used to do White Monsters. If you guys know anything about me, you know I like my coffee like I like my politicians. White Monsters. But the yellow Red Bulls have been hitting lately. And it's less. What's up with Monster making like 25-ounce things? It's like, dude, I got it. I don't need all that. You know what I mean? I can't handle all that. So Red Bull is much more manageable. It feels better, even though it's probably just as bad for you. I get one of those for every trip. Usually crush some pods. Fucking zone out, you know? Do the damn thing. I'm traveling into Phoenix, and I will be doing something that I love to do every year, and that is the Waste Management Open is a golf tournament in Phoenix, Arizona. Technically, it's up in North Scottsdale. Might be North Phoenix, actually. I don't know exactly what the city limits there are, but it's at a golf tournament, or it's a golf range up there in Phoenix, and it's the biggest shit show of the year. It happens every year, Super Bowl weekend, which is obviously coming up, and they do, I don't know, it's not like a big golf tournament, like, I don't know, I think PGA is attached to it, but you don't get the huge names. Sometimes you'll get the Phil Mickelsons. I know I've seen John Rahm there and stuff like that, but you get some pretty decent names, but, like, it's a shit show, and most of the real golfers are just like, yo, I'm kind of out on this. If you're a fan of golf, it's a good one to go to. If you're not a fan of golf, it's the only one you should go to. The beautiful thing about the Waste Management Open is it is just a place where people get fucking hammered. Shitty drunk. I've gone there multiple times, and I'll tell you right now, you can go to this golf tournament and not see a swing of golf. You will not look at any golf and still be there all day. And that doesn't make sense to you. You just got to go. It's just like you go in there and it is a party. There's booze everywhere. It's like the who's who of hot snatch in Scottsdale, Arizona. You're going to see every chick that you've ever banged in the years that you live there. I lived there for 15 years. You're going to run into them all if you hang out long enough. You're going to see dudes bumping lines in the porta potties. A lot of porta potty pops, if you will. Cocaine is being consumed at this event. I don't know what they're doing these days. You're gonna do your Molly. You're gonna do your poppers probably. There's some gay guys up there getting fucked in the porta potty, I'm sure, loosening up their backside, if you know what I mean. You know, you're going to get into the new stuff. Shout out to Tusi, whatever these new drugs are. And it's just unchecked white aggression. It's an event. Honestly, it's something that it's weird to say because now I'm, 37. So there's a part of me that's like, if you're my age listening to me right now and you haven't done it yet, you might have missed the boat. But it's a good time. It's a good weekend to do a bachelor party thing. It's a good weekend to do a bachelorette party thing. Women are there that have nothing to do. They don't know what golf is. You know what I mean? These women are just there to have a good time. It's an event for sure, and it's worth getting eyes on at some point in your life. And who am I kidding? 37. Most of the dudes there are in their 40s. But you're going to also get your ASU guys. I didn't go as much when I was at Arizona State. I went one time actually with a buddy of mine. The first time I ever went to the Waste Management Open, me and my boy, he's got a great name, Spots. I don't know why. I think he knew about it because his dad was more plugged in Scottsdale, whereas I had never, when I moved to Arizona State, I didn't know anything really about Phoenix lifestyle. I didn't understand the city at all that shit. I think we were 19, maybe 20, and he was like, "Dude, I got this thing. We're gonna go volunteer and do this shit for. You could volunteer and pretty much through the PGA or the whoever is representing the golf tournament, you would help them with a laser pointer, and you'd shoot lasers at the balls when they got shot or when they landed wherever on the golf course for each of the players, and that information would then go back to TV or something. So it's a way for them to know how far each ball was shot on, I don't know, TV or the PGA maybe tracks that. I'm not sure, honestly. But I remember we went there and we volunteered, and we had to go to a class and they had to tell us what to do, and we were fucking rolling our eyes, fucking giving the jag-off sign, fuck that shit, right? And we did all the stuff that they needed us to do, and we went to the day of, I don't know if it was a Friday or Saturday, and they gave us a pass. They gave us this purple pass, and you could go anywhere. And they told us to go to hole whatever it was, hole 15, hole 14, or something like that. I remember immediately they told us 2 different holes. We were like, that's fucked up. We're not going to go to 2 different holes. We started walking to the hole that we were supposed to be at to laser point. The people that we were volunteering with were no lie, on average, 70 years old or something like that. They were people that actually loved golf. They wanted to go and probably watch golf. And we were just there. We just wanted to get into this thing. And the smartest thing we did was just never go to the hole that we were supposed to shoot the laser ball at. And we used that purple pass that they gave us like carte blanche. We fucking went crazy with that thing. We were rolling around the whole thing. We literally, I remember we were just going wherever you could. Use a pass like that until somebody tells you that you can't use the pass, right? You take it all the way to the limit, to whatever that limit is, where somebody's like, yo, you can't get in here. I remember one dude looked at us. There was a Jack Daniels booth or something like that. Again, it's boozy situation. There's a Jack Daniels booth, and we're like, hey, we should pop into that. And we go in there. We were walking everywhere. We weren't even showing the badge, but if we were walking anywhere as if we deserved to be there, if we belonged to be there. And I remember walking into that specifically, and we walked past this dude, and this dude was like, you supposed to be here? And I remember taking this purple, it was, sometimes you react in the best way. And I took this purple badge, looked back at him and said, are you supposed to be here, dude? I'm definitely supposed to be here. And dude, if you do things like that with the right tone and the right attitude, you're going to get wherever you need to be. You need to have firmness behind your words. You need to have a quickness with your response. You probably need to make direct eye contact and not waver. And we ended up chilling. We went real hard. Free shots of Jack at that booth. They were giving away cigars. I remember not liking. That was a smart thing to not smoke cigars. You drink too much and start smoking cigars, all of a sudden you're vomiting on hole 16. But waste management, it's this weekend, and and I'll be going. If you've followed me long enough, you've probably seen videos I've done in the past. If you haven't, you're going to see them soon. But I'll be at the Pro-Am. So I go to the Pro-Am, which is the Wednesday before, like, the tournament. So the tournament's like Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday. And it does matter to some people. Like, if you win it, you win money. It's real shit. But before the tournament is the Pro-Am, and it's just a bunch of celebrities. And it's really cool because it's a big event where you do get some big names. Like, I know they just confirmed a couple days ago Nick Saban will be there. Last year was the Super Bowl, so it was the biggest names that I'd ever interacted with. So last year alone, I talked to Alex Rodriguez, Jerome Bettis. Trying to think some big names. 2 years ago was Aaron Rodgers. Alex Rodriguez was probably the biggest name I've ever talked to. I've talked to like Jason Kidd. I've talked to Michael Phelps. I'm forgetting some people, but that just big. A lot of celebrity athletes. But you do get like real names too, like Josh Duhamel, whatever that dude's name is. Some old like Bears linebacker, the Fridge, if you remember him. I don't really remember him, but things like that. You get to interact with some cool people. And then Larry Fitzgerald also, like a lot of Phoenix people come out. And then you get golfers too. Like sometimes they get paired up with people. So I've interacted with like Ricky Fowler, Rory McIlroy. I got a buddy that shoots the stuff for me, the cameraman. And either last year or 2 years ago, I had a moment. It was last year with Larry Fitzgerald and Rory McIlroy. And Rory and me were talking about how he helped Larry Fitzgerald with his swing and stuff like that. Had this whole funny interaction with him. And then behind me, Larry Fitzgerald is about to swing. Rory's talking about how he helped him swing. And Larry then shanks it. And I'll tell you what, I remember getting that, and I was like, that's going viral. You know what I mean? That's going to be one of those good videos that pops off. And sure enough, the cameraman, professional dude, been working this for longer than I've been alive. Forgot to hit record. Didn't get that interaction at all. And that's just Hollywood, baby. That's just show business. So that happens sometimes too. Torey Lovello, I talked to as well. He's the manager of the Diamondbacks, who just went to the World Series last year. So that's kind of fun. So either way, it's really cool. I get to shoot the shit with some of the biggest names that I ever get to interact with. So that's been pretty neat. Usually brings up some pretty good content, and we'll get some fun videos from it. So that'll be what I'm traveling out to Arizona for. And, I know I haven't tapped in with you guys, so I wanted to give you a little bonus episode this week. I'll probably throw 2 up this week as long as I can coordinate the other one while I'm in Phoenix. But last week I did not record for you guys because I had my beautiful mother visiting from Cincinnati. It was a busy week. I was hosting. We're doing things every day. And I was like, you know what? I don't need to sit down and do a pod. We could have done one with Mimi, but that's just not where we're at. You know, we're just trying to relax, enjoy each other's company, chill. And I didn't feel like jumping on a podcast last week. So if you're down because you didn't hear my voice, fuck you. You know what I'm saying? I deserve a life too. But also I appreciate you guys like missing me. You know what I mean? That's pretty dope that you guys would even miss my voice. But yeah, last week was good. Had my mother in town. My brother flew out from Phoenix, and then my mom flew in from Cincinnati and to Los Angeles and got to see me. My mom has never visited me in LA ever, so that was kind of nice. I got to show her my life a little bit, tap in. On Monday, I took her to the Comedy Store, which is cool because it's just experience. If you've never been to the Comedy Store and you get to go through the eyes of a comedian, it's really dope. Especially like I'm at a point where I know everybody there. People are dapping me up in front of my mom too, so it looks like you're like the king of whatever this is. Obviously, nobody's not gonna dap me up if they know me, but it like feels like sometimes feels like you're walking in like fucking Henry Hill and Goodfellas. You're getting dapped up. I'm not slipping $20 to everybody. I'm not flush like that yet. But like you're just showing her around and stuff like that, and it's cool. It's a cool perspective to have on the club, and I wanted to show her kind of what my life is like out here, so it was nice. She hasn't been able to travel out here to see me since I moved out here, because I moved out here the week that Kobe died. Actually, this is 4 years now, so this last week commemorates the day she flew in was the 4-year anniversary. Figure that out. So I moved out here 4 years ago, January 26th. And then COVID happened. And so she wasn't going to travel. She's older. She's not going to travel during that. And then she had some health stuff the last few years that didn't make sense to travel with. And then things have kind of gotten a little bit better the last, year and a half. And so it made sense to get her out here. It's nice to not have to go back to Cincy to see her, and then be able to kind of see what my life is out here. I'm the baby, you know what I mean? So she gets to see what her baby boy's doing. Speaking of which, you ever think about that? How I was thinking about that this week, because I'm the baby in my family. We have 3 children. Myself, my brother is the middle child, and then my sister is the oldest, and then my mother is my mother, and I'm now 37, but I'm still the baby. You ever think about that? How, like, there's people in your life where you're always just going to be this younger person to them, no matter what the dynamics of life are. I'm old, I don't want to sit here and say I'm old as shit, but I'm a grown-ass man now. You know what I mean? There's shit that, like, you can't tell me anymore. But in those certain situations, you're still the youngest, you're still the baby, and the dynamics of a family are still very much present. It's interesting stuff. I was thinking about that, because then also, like, in that situation, I'm the youngest. There's hierarchy over me based on the dynamics of a family situation. But then I'm 37. Like, anybody younger than me, they're fuck these kids. You know what I mean? They're young as fuck. They're little babies. But then right when I'm in front of my brother, who's only 2 years older than me, if you talk to anybody else, like any other person that's like 39 at this point, I'm like, oh, you're my age. You're about my age. But my brother is always, it feels like, significantly older than me. It's the family dynamics, Huh. I think Freud wrote about that. Either way, things that I think about sometimes when I'm taking a shit. Speaking of taking a shit, I was just at the gas station sitting on zero gas, 0 miles on the range barometer or whatever the hell on my Volkswagen Tiguan. And I pulled up to that Chevron at Chiraco Summit right here in lovely California. And I'll tell you what I did. I didn't take a shit, but I farted in line. And there was an elderly lady behind me that, sometimes I wonder if maybe their senses aren't as good at that age and stuff like that. I'm hoping, because this thing could have knocked somebody out. But you just, what was I going to hold it? I had to rip it. And in the moment that I ripped it, they actually weren't right behind me. The line created, ripped it thinking nobody behind me, and then you look back behind you and you're like, this person's walking. I've done that twice actually this week. I did that in line there. I just ripped one there at the Chevron. A healthy one too. Thunderous, you know what I mean? Formidable. And then this person entered the line right behind me, and you're just like, tough. But I did it earlier this week, was way worse, because I was sitting waiting for an oil change. I got an oil change for my car this week at the Volkswagen of Santa Monica. Shout out to them. Always really on top of their service. And I am sitting there waiting. They told me, like, just pull up here. Somebody will be here to take your car in a little bit. So you're just waiting. You don't know how long that's going to be before a mechanic maybe pulls up, takes control of the situation. And I'm sitting there, and I'm sitting in the driver's seat of my car alone, with the door is open, but, like, I know that the fart is going to escape through the door. These are things that I think of. I'm like, all right, door's open. I'm not going to sit in my car with this hot fart. I'm going to just let this thing go, let it creep out, and, just get this thing out of me. And I rip this thing, and who pops up right like honestly, it was one of the longer ones that you get. Just a freeper. No sound too, which sometimes is those are coming in hot. And it was early morning too. It was 9 a.m. I don't think I had a bowel movement at this point, so this thing was sitting on a turd, rolling right off a turd, and entering the world. And I let that thing go, and the mechanic pulls right up, dude, like mid fart, and he's got to get in here. Oh, you almost want to tell him. That is the tough thing. It's the first interaction, so human nature tells you not to open it with like, yo, I'm gonna be real with you, I just ripped a gnarly one, boy. I would step back from the car for 90 seconds and then maybe enter the car. But then that's a weird thing, because then that's a crazy first interaction. It's, but also it's 9 a.m., dude. This dude doesn't deserve to have his day set back so early, before noon, you know what I mean? But I was a coward. I didn't say anything. I just let him sit in it. Because he's got to, not only does he's got to get in the vehicle, but before, like, I'm sitting here freshly ripped fart, and he's got to lean over kind of my body to see the, what is it, the odometer, to see mileage, and he's checking mileage and shit like that. I'm sitting here like, whew. He's physically going through, if you could have seen the cloud of the fart, his face was physically going through wherever this thing was hovering. Tough break for him. Still gave me pretty good service. They promised 1 o'clock. It wasn't ready till closer to 2. And honestly, I blame myself. I think he was reeling. After I gave him the car, he probably took about 45 minutes to kind of get back to good, So maybe that's my fault. I wasn't too mad about it. Good guy. But, yeah, so that was my week. Got an oil change. Yeah, last week I had Mimi Turner out here. It was great. It was nice to have my mom and brother out too, and just get to hang. I don't know how you guys are with family stuff. I'm in LA. My brother's in Phoenix. My mom and sister in Cincinnati. So it's not as easy. And quite frankly, we're not the most, well-off family. Never have been. So, like, traveling, we're workers, right? We're always working. My brother's a hard-working dude in Phoenix. I'm always working my ass off. You got to maximize the ability to be able to get home. The nice thing with my life now is I'm able to travel more, but it's hard to, I can't always just travel back to Cincinnati, and it's hard to not have a trip that is revolving around comedy, too. As you look at me, I have my hand behind the thing. I'll tell you right now, I'm a knee driver sometimes. I can drive with a knee. You're seeing it if you're watching this on YouTube. But yeah, it's nice to just have moments where we can just hang, and it's not also, like, when I go back to Cincinnati and I have to revolve it around a comedy show, sometimes it's stressful because it's a trip back home where we're all trying to hang, but it's still about me, which sucks, because inherently you're producing a show where people are going to buy tickets to see you is, as much as it doesn't, it's always going to kind of feel like a selfish act. But it is what it is. People pay the big bucks to see your boy, So you got to give the people what they want, but it can sometimes kind of switch up the plans and the intentions of the week. So it's nice for them to be able to come to LA. I'm doing my thing out here. She's able to come to shows here that are already kind of ready to go and not as all-consuming as going back to Cincinnati, which is almost like sometimes a little reunion of sorts with all my friends back in Cincinnati, which is a beautiful thing, again, but it can be kind of draining for my family. That's the way that they get to hang with me, is through having to share me with everybody else. So, it is, did the Reds just sign Josh Harrison? I don't know enough about him being good anymore, but that's exciting if they did. I hope we can get a good bat in there. That's the other thing. We're about to be entering baseball season, which is crazy. Here we are. We're a week out of the Super Bowl. Also, if you're listening to this, I'm using my phone to record the video portion of this if you're watching on YouTube. And so, yeah, sometimes I get updates, and I'm like, oh, shit. Is that ESPN telling me that the Cincinnati Reds just signed somebody? It is that interesting time of year, though. We got the Super Bowls coming up. So it's a great time of year if you're a football fan. It's also a weird time of year if you're a football fan because I'm not a fan of either of these teams. And you still kind of have to watch the game. It's like a thing you have to have an opinion on. And my only opinion is, like, fuck the Chiefs. You know, I'm back to hater mode. I told you guys I wasn't trying to hate. But if the Lions were in it, I'd be happy as fuck. What the hell happened? You know? I was in San Francisco for that game, too. That was horrible. And it sucked, dude. I was diving in on the Lions bandwagon for sure. It's funny to dive into. Obviously, just having a team to root for was better for me mentally. So I was like, let's go with Lions. I'm gonna root for them, kind of pull for them, and then to watch them, you know, do some stuff that you might see the Cincinnati Bengals do was tough to watch. It was heartbreaking. You feel bad for the fans. I know they had an exciting year, an unexpected, you know, run to the NFC Championship game is super exciting. But to have the win, to have the game in complete control, and then just completely fuck it up, that is brutal stuff that I know the Bengals have done in the past. They haven't done it in the AFC Championship level game, but they have definitely done it with the Steelers wildcard game coming to mind, shit like that. So, brutal stuff. And I'm sitting there. I didn't go to the game. I went up to San Francisco, and obviously when I say San Francisco, I mean Santa Clara, to Levi Stadium to record some stuff at the tailgate. If you haven't seen that, it's on YouTube. Hit that up. That was a fun one. Got some of the most views we've gotten, actually, on those videos. So we're going to keep trying to tap into that and grow those things. So shout out to Mic'd Up and doing shit like that. But I went up there and I did the tailgate, and then I have a buddy that actually has like a production studio that helps me with filming it. And then during the game, I actually just went back there and chilled and watched the game at their studio. And you're watching it, and then what I wanted to do was get post-game video too. And if you saw on Instagram, actually, there was a dude that ended up offering me cocaine after the victory. So shout out to the Bay Area, a.k.a. the Yay area. Really, really leaning into that nickname with the interaction I had. But I wanted to get post-game video too. And so in order to do that, I had to stay for the game, right? And then you go set up a camera. It was all by myself too, which is crazy. I've actually never done it, but I set up a tripod, set up the camera, set up the mic attached to the camera and shit. Was just praying that I set it all up right. I usually have a second person that is much more acclimated to do something like this. So this was kind of sketchy too. And then I'm sitting there like, you know, you're in anywhere really, and you're like, dude, somebody could go fucking knock this camera over and just be angry at life. That's why I was actually thinking if the Lions won, I thought it was going to be a little hairy because the Lions fans would be happy, but there would be a majority of Niners fans that would be pissed off, and I thought they might try to fuck my camera up. So that was a concern. Also, on the flip side, you don't know how Lions fans are going to react if it was like a horrible ref call or some shit like that. But I say all that to say that I rolled up to this, and I had to leave before the very final of the game. But by then, I thought that the Niners were probably gonna come back and win, but I didn't know for sure. So I actually didn't know who won initially when I first got there, and there was part of me that was just hoping that these Lions fans were gonna be happy. But the thing I didn't know was how the Lions kind of came all the way back a little bit. They were down 10, I guess, and they came all the way back to almost be down 3, and then they had another situation where they didn't call a timeout, something like that. So I, in my mind, was thinking like, well, you know, they were close. Maybe the Lions fans won't be that bummed. But then So then I'm telling these Lions fans, like, oh, you guys will be all right, blah, blah, blah. But I was trying to be positive and optimistic with their future and all that stuff and have a right perspective. But then I was thinking about it after the fact, and I was like, they didn't want to hear any of that. They just had one of the worst collapses in the history of the NFL playoffs. Not the worst, but that's the thing that sucks is I guess it is mathematically one of the worst. Immediately, top of the list. They also should have won the fucking game. You just should have had a better second half and won the game. And so having some dude that doesn't, that just has a camera is talking shit like, hey man, you'll be all right. They were so not all right. Just looking at their faces, like they were depressed. I thought I'd have a couple of them be like, it was a fun ride and shit like that. They were fucking bummed. And to do it on the road too, then you're in the city, so you're around these people that are fucking happy and talking shit. It seemed like a horrible experience for these guys. So that sucked to watch. And then the Niners fans, though, were... here's what I'll say about the Niners fans, seeing them eye to eye after the game. It was actually probably, the least excited you could imagine a fan base being after a comeback win like that. I was actually ready for... I guess I've never done the post-game tailgate videos, but I was thinking it was going to be I don't know. I thought it was going to be real rowdy. I thought they were going to be fucking turning up. And don't get me wrong, some people were hyped, right? But for the most part, it was a bunch of fans that were just kind of not happy with the team, concerned with where they're at, they feel like they're backpedaling into the Super Bowl is what was my kind of general consensus. Since the game, I've actually talked to some friends of mine that are actually hardcore Niners fans, and they're kind of having the same sentiment. They're like, we're actually kind of a negative fan base right now, even though they're in the Super Bowl, because they know they should be playing better. Their defense looks like it sucks. Their offense is taking a lot of time to get clicking in these games, so it's kind of concerning. So it was weird to get eyes on that and see that firsthand, because I was expecting just this fucking rowdy ass fan base, because I've seen them pregame. I saw them this game pregame, and postgame they were kind of walking out I wouldn't say shell shocked, but they were not as hyped as I thought they'd be, which does make sense. Watching the game, they looked like they were getting their asses handed to them, and then it feels like Detroit I don't want to say they gave it away, but they just started fumbling the balls away. Or fumbling away opportunities. I actually don't know if there were that many fumbles, but you know what the fuck I'm talking about. I know there was a pick. But, it just... it was an interesting game to be around the fans for sure. And then I got the fuck out of San Francisco. And then you got the Chiefs and the Ravens. I told you guys, I hated even having to think about watching that game. Didn't enjoy it. So much so that I did the video at the tailgate before the game of the Niners and Lions, and so I didn't actually have to watch that game at all. I didn't watch it. I got updates and shit like that, but I didn't get eyes on it. So I know they won looked like a horrible game, 13-3 or some shit like that, or I don't know what the final was, but I know that not very eventful. It didn't look like a team. The weird thing is the Chiefs didn't look like a team that's going to come in there and you're going to be super intimidated too. So it's an overall weird season. My takeaway of the NFL this year is and it frustrates me because obviously being a Bengals fan, you see. The biggest thing is I see an opportunity where the Bengals could have fucking definitely been in the Super Bowl if Joe Burrow was healthy. And that's the biggest frustration, because if Burrow was healthy, you just don't know what the momentum would have been. Just things change. Everything changes when you have the quarterback playing at a high level, and it looked like our defense was getting better and better every week. Obviously, you had DJ Reader ended up getting injured late in the season. But honestly, if Burrow is our quarterback, you don't even that play doesn't happen like that, because the offense is on the field longer or whatever like that. That defensive snap could have never even happened. So you don't know who would have been injured if Burrow was in. And so it looked like the defense overall was just gelling better and better, and our offense would have been continuing to click with Burrow. So this is a season that I will look back on always and be like, fuck. Because the Chiefs are in the Super Bowl right now, and I'll tell you right now, the Chiefs are not as good as they have been. The fact that they're in the Super Bowl is a testament to how good fucking Patrick Mahomes is, Andy Reid as a coach, all that shit. Like, I'm not knocking how good these motherfuckers are, but they're very beatable, and they could win the Super Bowl next week, and I wouldn't be shocked. But I'm saying, like, I was at that game in Arrowhead when the Bengals lost, 25-17. Like, if we have Joe Burrow, those drives are different. Jake Browning was moving the ball in the first half, but then we completely stalled out. We didn't have momentum, all that shit. Like, but Burrow being in that offense changes everything. Like, they could have definitely beat this Chiefs team if we, just had the health on our side. So it's a frustrating fucking year. And then you're looking at the Niners, and the Bengals already beat the Niners in San Francisco. And this team now is actually a lot more in line with the team that we beat in week, whatever that was. I think it was like week 5 or 6 or something like that. I don't know. It might have been later than that. Don't quote me on what week that was. But whatever that was, I remember we got them when their offense was a little injured. But this is a team now, the Niners, their offense is actually pretty healthy, I'm pretty sure. But their defense is now injured, and they don't have the pieces that they had. And they're getting kind of torched on D. And so this seems like a team that's super beatable too. And you got a quarterback that has never been in a Super Bowl. And so, I honestly, if I had to put money on it, I would just not. It's just one of those things where you just don't bet against Patrick Mahomes. It's probably a bad bet. And then you've got a rookie quarterback coming into this. Not a rookie quarterback, I shouldn't say that, but a first time in the Super Bowl quarterback. And he's not even, I don't even think, what is this, his second year? Was he a rookie last year or 2 years ago? I don't know. But, like, this kid's going to have fucking a lot on the plate for him, next week. Like, it isn't an easy thing. I think Burrow, his first time in the Super Bowl, got caught up with that too. I don't think that I think he played, honestly, one of the worst games of that year in the Super Bowl, and they still almost won. He was not sharp. There were some balls that just weren't sharp. You're going to have that. That's the brightest lights in the fucking world, right? The Super Bowl is everybody's eyes on you. This is going to be motherfuckers you never even heard of in some tribe in Bangladesh. They're going to be watching the Super Bowl. Don't even give a fuck about football. You know what I'm saying? Everybody in the world's watching you. And Patrick Mahomes is now in his 4th or 5th, right? So that's a huge advantage. I do think a lot of those Niners guys have been in the Super Bowl, though, because they were in it 5 years ago, I think it was. And it was against this Chiefs team also, but completely different teams at this point. But so you do have an advantage of having a coach that has been in a situation like this. So that could be. It was almost like how the Rams went with McVay twice, but the second time around they had a different quarterback. You could argue that maybe is an advantage. At least you have a coach that understands the ins and outs of the Super Bowl schedule. So it'll be interesting. I don't know. I don't think I'm going to bet on it, actually. But I probably, unless I want to bet on the Chiefs, and I don't want to fucking bet on the Chiefs. I don't want to be emotionally attached to the Chiefs. If I had to, gun in my head, I'm probably thinking that the Chiefs are going to figure it out just because, you don't want to bet against Mahomes. It's a bad bet. Tom Brady showed us that for a long time. And I'm hoping that our boy Joe Burrow turns into a guy that you don't want to bet against starting next year in Vegas. Or no. In New Orleans. This year's in Vegas. You guys know what the fuck I'm talking about. But, so I don't know. Super Bowl's next week, though. It's in Vegas. I'm trying to, that's another thing that I'm driving out here for, too. So I'm driving to Phoenix. We'll do the Waste Management Open. It always happens on Super Bowl week. And then Super Bowl is in Vegas, which is not that bad of a drive from Phoenix. I get there in 4 hours if you need me to. Quarter tank of gas and a good attitude. I'll get you there. But there's a thing that I did last year at the Radio Row, and it was a very fun video that I did. chasing around T. Higgins and Jamar Chase, and I ended up getting access to Radio Row. Now, last year was in Phoenix, so I had unique kind of opportunity to get in there, if you will, because I had some relationships that I could tap into to be able to get a press pass. So this year's a little different. I'm trying to tap into any relationships I have with the Bengals people. They're going to ask on my behalf, but the NFL is fucking weird, dude. They don't it's a hard organization to figure out how to get access to sometimes. But at the end of the day, last year I got in, and it ended up being easier than I thought it would be, but it was all last minute. So that turned into a super fun video, and we got some very fun moments with Phillip Rivers. Or no, not Phillip Rivers. What the fuck's that dude's name? Ryan Lee, Phillip Rivers. The exact opposite of Phillip Rivers, who is a good old Christian with 10 children and kept his nose clean for fucking 17 years. The exact opposite. Ryan Leaf is who I was speaking of. Both legendary Chargers, though. But I got like a super fun video with him. Nate Burleson said what up to me. I got to talk to Jamar Chase and T. Higgins. LeVar Arrington was there. I think he had CTE. His interaction with me was very spacey. But I got to see a bunch of people last year, so I'm trying to do that again and give you guys some more dope content like that. But just know that I'm always trying to do cool shit, and sometimes I just can't get the access. And I can't wait till shit just continues to pop off for me and continues to give me more access to things like that because, you know, I feel like I'm uniquely skilled in situations like that, and just trying to get things rolling this year. So hopefully we'll do that, but at the very least we're going to get that waste management video this week, which will be fun. So I'm excited for that. Go to Phoenix, see some family. Be good, you know? Be great. It's fucking raining also. Most of this drive out here. That's going to suck too. I hope it doesn't rain for the golf tournament. Raining in LA, you want to see people lose their fucking minds? Woof. It was like a flood warning last night in LA. It's like, you know, I know it doesn't rain there a lot, but, you know, have you ever experienced rain? Everybody calm down. It's the same thing in Arizona, though. When it rains in Arizona, people fucking lose their shit. They got something called the dumb driver law, because if you drive through a intersection with like a lot of water in it and your car gets swept up because you're a fucking idiot and you didn't see that there was a whole fucking river flowing through the intersection that you can't drive through, if your car gets swept away, the insurance doesn't have to pay for it anymore. Dumb driver law. And those are things I respect. But that's how crazy people get when it rains. They act like they don't know what the fuck's going on. It's like, have you ever seen that fucking Christian Slater movie with Morgan Freeman? Hard Rain? Act right. I should go rewatch that, first of all. That was a good... I remember thinking that was a good movie. That movie actually probably sucks. But I love watching... You guys know that about me. I love watching those old 90s movies that I fucking remember. Hard Rain, dude. Just the concept was a small town. I'm pretty sure Christian Slater was he's a cop or maybe a civilian that get caught up in the thing, and then maybe Morgan Freeman was the cop. One of them was shady. I think Morgan Freeman was actually trying to do some slick shit on the side. And there was definitely a chick in the movie that was a big actress for like 18 months. And I think Christian Slater ended up having to make out with her, which is good for him. He didn't have to do nothing. He got to. That was a privilege, brother. And they're trying to get some money out of the town, but the rain floods the whole city, so they're on a boat and shit. You know what I'm talking. Anybody know what I'm talking about out there? Hard Rain, dude. Fucking comment on YouTube and tell me your perspective on Hard Rain, bro. Yeah, I should dive back into that. Speaking of which, what I've been watching lately, I think I might have referred to it in the last episode, but I'm diving into this True Detective new season, and it's through 4 episodes. I don't want to really... It doesn't spoil anything, but I think it's good. That's where I'm at with it. I'm 4 episodes in. Just watched the 4th episode last night as I'm speaking to you now. And Jodie Foster's in it, who I fuck with pretty heavy. She doesn't choose a lot of project, so when she does, I'm always like, all right, let me check this one. Let me get eyes on this. Also, True Detective, I've been rewatching them lately. I rewatched the first season and the third season leading up to this because I was like, let me go just see how good these were. First season still goes hard as fuck. Third season, kind of a mess. Second season I didn't watch because I remember it just being so bad that I'm never going to revisit that. Even though I do love Colin Farrell the more I age. But the fourth season, yeah, Jodie Foster, they're up in Alaska. It's going okay. I don't know. It's a show where it's funny because I think it's only 6 episodes and we're on episode 4. I've watched all 4, and it'll be a show that can definitely end in a way where you'll be like, yo, that shit was dope. Which is kind of how a lot of TV shows are, especially these days. Obviously, the ending always matters. The end of a show always matters. But sometimes there are shows out there where you're like 3 episodes in, you're like, this fucking show rips, dude. And this isn't that at this point. It's not that. But it's giving you enough, like, kind of thread to pull on. Like, some things are going on where you're like, I feel like I'm in on this. And I feel like it has, you know, with a lot of murder mystery stuff like that, it has some shit going on where it's intriguing enough where you want to definitely know the answers. But if the answers end up being corny or fucking stupid connections and shit like that, I could see it just getting hated on for sure. So keep eyes on that if you haven't been following that on X or Twitter or whatever. I'm sure people are going to be either trashing it in a couple weeks or really loving it. But I don't think there's the thing. Is sometimes with projects like that, I'm like, yo, Jodie Foster's in it. Like, she clearly likes where it ended, I would think. She didn't just get the pilot script and sign on. I feel like the whole show must have been written. It is, though, definitely veers off from the True Detective, the core, you know, like the origins of True Detective, when that it feels a little, and you get this even from the first couple episodes, so it's not like spoiling anything, but just like, you're like, is this even a person that did this, or is this like a fucking being or like a spirit or something like that? So there's part of me that hopes it doesn't go that route, because I feel like True Detective is still, at the end of the day, it was always like a thing that killed these people, like a thing that you could believe, a situation that you could believe actually happened in reality. And I don't know if they're veering off from that or not, but it's some wild shit, and it's kind of creepy. I didn't expect to be creeped out by it either. I'm not losing any sleep, but it's got some unsettling stuff. Let me tell you that right now. So I've been watching that, and yeah, I haven't really watched much else. What did I do? Oh, you know what I did? I did go see a kids movie. You guys will appreciate this, but I went and saw Migration. Got eyes on that. I got a girlfriend that likes fun animated movies sometimes. And you know what? I used to go watch all those fucking Pixar movies as an adult too. And we were just chilling one day, an afternoon not too long ago, and it's like, let's go watch this one. I was like, fuck it. It's about ducks. And you know what? It's pretty fun. Not a hard vouch. That even like those movies sometimes it's hard to reach the level of perfection that we reached earlier on in like Pixar and shit like that. This isn't a Pixar movie. I forget what it whatever the studio that made Despicable Me and Minions and shit like that. It's the same one. So they did this duck movie. Danny DeVito is in it. I'm always in on that. It was pretty fun. But, you know, you look back on this era of cartoonish movie. I don't know. They're not cartoon, animated movies, whatever. Like, because I feel like Toy Story is not a cartoon as much as like an animated thing. You know what the fuck I'm talking about, though. Computer generated, whatever. But, man, we definitely grew up in a time where we were just crushing those movies. We had Shrek. We had Toy Story. You know, all the way up until like fucking people still fuck with Ratatouille, and you know, some classics. Wall-E, people still bring up. You know, you never gonna get those hitters anymore. There's nothing. I guess the last movie that took over shit was Frozen, but even that was like, well, not like 10, 12 years ago now. I don't even know. So, here now I know where we're at. So we're crossing on the road trip here, and we're entering Arizona right now. And there's a Wendy's that I have gone to probably 15, 20 times in my life that we just passed that is just good for classic number 6, no maters, in and out. That's a good Wendy's right there on the border of Arizona and California. I'll give you that. And then you start seeing signs like really good fresh jerky. Daniel's really good fresh jerky. That's a guy that I don't know if he believes in his product as much as he should. I'm sure I'm going to see another sign soon that's going to be like, this is the best beef jerky you've ever fucking had. And Daniel's over here like kind of timid a little bit more, like a little bit more relaxed. Really good, solid, fresh beef jerky. Pull up on Daniel. And then, you know what? I do respect the fact that if you do get off and you bite into it, and that's your reaction, this is really good, fresh jerky. And that's probably more of a reaction that you're going to get than somebody saying, this is the best fucking beef jerky I've ever had. So, props to Daniel, actually, maybe. I've come full circle on that billboard. Billboard game on long rides is crazy, too. You just be reading billboards. Like, the craziest ones are the ones that, like, are... You'll be reading it, and it's a crazy message, and usually, like, the last thing will be like, can he save you? And then you're like, oh, this is a Jesus billboard? Can you imagine driving along the highway and reading a billboard and realizing that you believe in Jesus Christ as our Lord and Savior from a billboard? That's always crazy to me. Like, what are the Christians doing? Who's funding these? Like, I saw not only billboards, there's actual commercials now of people being like, can Jesus save you? Is Jesus the homie? Holler at Jesus. He'll save you. Can you imagine watching True Detective and then getting an automated ad after True Detective and being like, dude, honestly, I was kind of out on this religious stuff, but I was sitting there with my hand on my dick, and there was an advertisement that came on talking about this Jesus guy. You heard of him? I'll tell you what I did. I Googled him. This dude was walking on water. You fucking kidding me? You see what he did to water, bro? Turn that shit to wine. Think he could walk on wine? This guy sounds like a hoot. It's weird shit. It is weird shit. I don't trust it. I don't trust it. But yeah, past the Arizona border. I'm now in Arizona. I still got about, I don't know, a couple hours left on this ride. And hope you guys enjoy this. Maybe I'll do these more when I'm driving back and forth from places. And trust me, I know it looks dangerous, but you guys see I got a seatbelt on. You guys see my hair. This is my driving hair. If you're watching on YouTube, I didn't bathe before this drive because why? You know what I mean? Why? And otherwise, keep tabs on the YouTube. If you're listening to this and you haven't subscribed to my YouTube, also I'm at 8,000 subscribers. Let's get those numbers up. All right? I don't even know how I got 8,000 on there. I think a couple of things went pretty viral. But if we get more views on these things, let's get more interaction on them. If you're listening and you want to talk to me at all, comment in there. I'll fuck with you. I'll say what up. Oh, god damn it. Gas is $3.19. I just paid $5 fucking for this shit. This is what, you know, this is when the road trip really fucking pisses you off. These cocksuckers. I know where I'm going to get gas on the way back. You know what? It's on me. I should have planned this better. You guys know. I'm venting to the wrong person. But yeah, let's get these subscribers up. You know what I'm saying? Fuck with your boy. Share with whoever you want. Going to try to be putting more content up there. I'll be having the Waste Management Open thing. Football season's officially over, so we're going to get some other things going. Hopefully still be doing some man on the street shit. When the NBA playoffs get going, I'll be going and fucking with people's at Clippers games and shit like that. And then, yeah, let's keep these numbers up. And then the call and response show, if you guys fuck with that, let me know what you think about that. We've been sharing those shorts and the reels for the call and response show, the EMT show that I've been working on. So fuck with that if you like it. Let me know any feedback that you have there. And if you're in San Diego, I'll be in San Diego on March 16th. If you're in St. Louis, I'll be in St. Louis and Indianapolis at the end of March and in the beginning of April. So St. Louis, I believe, I'm driving, so I don't have these things in front of me. But I'm almost certain that St. Louis is March 29th and 30th, and then Indianapolis is April 5th and 6th. I could have mixed those up. But if you're in St. Louis or Indianapolis, holla at your boy. Let's pack those shows out. Coming through to the Midwest for baseball season, too. Let's fucking go. But I appreciate you guys rocking with me. Sorry for the tardiness on this episode, but you guys understand. Family first, baby. Family first. But yeah, I'll be talking to you guys again soon. I'm going to try to drop another one this week for you guys. Double up. I owe you guys. Appreciate you. And if you're there listening and you don't hear from me on Instagram, it means I might have gotten into an accident. But don't put that bad energy out there. Think about it. Tell me to drive safe, even though you're listening to this and I've probably already made it to my destination. Holla at your boy. I'll talk to you guys later. Peace.